WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Well, hello, hello, hello. It is Monday at 4 o'clock, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we're just real happy to have you on this interesting day. I won't say it's not sunny. It's not really cloudy. It's just one of those blah days, but it isn't cold. So that's a blessing. That's a blessing. So I'm glad to have you with us after the wonderful Resurrection Sunday yesterday. Hopefully, everyone had a really, really good Resurrection Sunday. I will tell you that New Prospect Missionary Baptist Church had a great Resurrection Sunday. Our children's program was great. The young people did an excellent job. And so we're just pleased that things are coming along real well at New Prospect Missionary Baptist Church on the corner of Livernois and Pembroke. My guest today is someone you all know already. You know who he is. He's been on before often. But I just want to have him on to congratulate Mr. Dwight Harris on being selected as the, give me the right title,
Peer
peer
support
support
specialist
specialist.
of the year for the National Association of Mental Illness.
How about that for the state of Michigan? We're not talking not just Detroit, not just Wayne County. We're talking about the state of Michigan. Dwight has been honored as the peer support
Specialist
specialist of the year. How
of
about
the
that?
year.
What do peer support people do, Dwight?
We help people. I
Okay.
mean, in layman terms, I think when it comes to peer support specialists, like you live the experience, those things that you've been through, and then you become trained in that which you had to recover from, whether it's drugs, whether it's mental illness, or going to prison, whatever that those traumas was that affected you, and that you are well now in recovery. And so a lot of people that are peers have recovered for something. Such as I've met people that lost their memory the last 30 years of their memory. I've met people that
Really?
tried to kill themselves.
We'll stop right there because I want to hear about the people who have lost their memory for 30 years. And they came back, they got it back?
Yeah, so no.
Oh no?
And so and so
Okay.
so so being a peer, it's like that experience of what you've been through, but it becomes a point where you have to be able to de-escalate or take in what somebody else is doing because in order to help somebody that's challenged, we're all on the same spectrum, but they might be over there. I mean that in order to help them, you have to go get them. Peers can go get them. No, it doesn't matter how far a person is. We can go get them. It's like we're the first to make contact with a person that's challenged mentally because we have been there. Um, because work in crisis is traumatic. There's secondhand trauma coming from working in crisis or working with people in mental illness. Peers were created like 20 years ago. These were people that were working in the trenches of helping people, that vulnerable population, drug addicts, um, to those people that whether they're autism or whatever. People that became peers are people that had been through there and they know what it is to be where they was at. And it works better to have a peer to help a person down than a person that had never been there.
Okay, makes
So
sense.
that's kind of the best way. And with all these training and innovative trainings on how to help de-escalate, um, how to show a person how to take care of themselves, how to create a plan, a person plan, what to do in a crisis. Me, I have different skill sets.
Mhm.
Yes, I got an award from the National Association of Mental Illness. And so when I'm asked about it, all I can say is that I'm working in my passion. I'm
Okay.
thinking that my passion is helping people that can't help themselves. Um, and it's just natural for me because I remember a time that I needed help and nobody could reach me. I was so far in the hole and I wish somebody could help me. So being in this situation, and it wasn't something that I just figured I was gonna do. It was something that grew on me with my passion of coming home from prison. And all those struggles, I went through struggle. My adjustment wasn't easy. Um, and so it took a while for me to understand it. I stand in my passion, so the work is just basically what I've been through, my recovery. And so the award is a testament that it wasn't about me, it's about everybody else. I mean, the work that we do is never about you, it's about other people. And when you look at the story of Jesus,
Mhm.
I don't remember one time that he went somewhere to do something for himself, you know. And so wherever he went, it was all about what he was doing for the people. He never sat down with the rich people because they used to always tell him that it would be a bad day for him if he sat down with robbers, thieves, courtesans, and consorted with them. But as a story, Jesus said, no, this day will be an evil day for you. Those people that shun and look down on those people that have been through the same thing they've been through. When these people have broken blades and they acknowledge theirs, there's people that have them and don't acknowledge their broken blades.
Hmm.
And so I believe that I acknowledge my broken blades. Like people would hear me talk, and a lot of people would think that I'm glorifying my lifestyle, where it's really pain. To talk about where I've been, but it's cathartic. It's the only way I can continue having that passion to help other people. What I realized is that to helping people in prison, I started helping people out here.
Okay.
When people start understanding my language barrier and I started getting trained in what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
I was just advocating. Advocating, you could just talk. Sometimes advocating, you could talk too much.
No, not you.
Yeah. I mean, cause after advocating, you got to have structure in what you say.
Yeah.
You just can't be all over the place. Advocating,
And
you could be all
you
over.
can't just can't say anything either. You gotta
So
say something that's going to be meaningful and helpful to that person.
I started working for D-Win.
Uh-huh. Tell people what DWIN stands for.
D-Win stands for Detroit Wayne Health Integrated Network.
Okay.
Collaboration of services Detroit came up with some years ago that makes up the Mental Health Authority. It went from Detroit Wayne to now Detroit Wayne Health Integrated Network, because the services are integrative services when it comes to holistic health. That's kind of good.
Okay.
And so these systems of cares, with their innovative approaches, DWIN has nationwide innovation when it comes to mental health. And those departments and how they integrate and how they work for the whole, even coming into getting mental health services without insurance. Those things didn't occur before. Mental health has exacerbated.
Mhm.
I want to say, I say since COVID. I'm not a doctor, so I can.
Of course,
say
but you know
for-
what? One of the things that I think negatively impacted mental health also is when one of the previous governors eliminated
Yeah.
the mental health institutes, so
Yeah.
the Lafayette clinics and all the other places that were there to help
Yeah.
people with mental illness. And when he closed those down around the state, you began to see many, many more people on the streets with mental health issues that were homeless, that were acting out. Many people were in jail because that was the only place they had to put them now, because they didn't have the facilities that had been closed to put people who had mental health illness. So I would say over the last, and that would have been probably in 1992, 3, 4, somewhere in there when those places were closed. So we're talking about 30, 35 years
Yeah.
of mental health downturn because some decisions were made that negatively impacted, and it was negatively impacting poor people with mental health
Yeah.
issues. And so DWIN kind of it came out of all of that, and it's just been a really a godsend to so many, many people.
Yeah. And so when it comes to mental health, like what you were saying,
Mhm.
I realized the change was people are not responsible for what they do. We learned that people wasn't responsible for what they do. The studies. Years ago, there was no mental health. It's like psychiatric. These
Mhm.
words we use where we were afraid to go see a site because it meant a dark hallway with a white coat, real spooky, like to get help.
Mhm.
So I realized that now it's more prevalent because we see it. We've always experienced it. Like my uncle had mental health challenges. I love my uncle. I never understood what he was going through from a child. I understand now. But what people don't understand is that we all on the same spectrum. And the reason is we're talking about it because it's happening across the board.
Mhm.
It's happening to people that's behind the scene. It could put it out there so we can hear about it. It used to be, it just happened to those people.
Yes.
We're realizing that those people that's crazy,
Are us.
which is taboo, that word is us.
Well,
So the spectrum shows that it ain't just them, that is us, like my friend too. Like a lot of people think it's just those people in those groups and we are categorizing and marginalizing. So what we're doing is stumping out the stigma.
Okay.
What I say is that in order to stump the stigma out, you have to be willing to accept another person's vulnerability. I say if you can't accept a person's vulnerability, then you could be a bully. Well, why you say that? Because if you can't accept their vulnerability, if you walk past a person that's vulnerable, that's a sign of being a bully.
Mm-hmm.
Because if nobody was looking, you may kick him. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So when it comes
Like
to
the people who throw the rock and hide their hands.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying so because it right there.
Mhm.
It is people that would speak to 100 people, but would not speak to the one. You know, because it's impressionable. Everybody's seen me, but the one I can lie and say I ain't see you and all kind of things. But that's truly who people are.
Okay.
What is mental health? That we all on the same spectrum. We have different minds, but they made up the sense this complex organ and it's something to go on the inside we call the mind.
Okay.
It's in the brain. Some people have noise. Noise are being made. They don't know where it comes from, and sounds and voices. Where the next person don't hear it like that. What I say is that there are voices that you've heard before in your head.
Mhm.
True?
True.
Okay, me too. And so everybody can
Mm,
identify that we've
Yeah.
all
Heard the voice.
heard a voice,
Uh-huh.
a real voice, right?
Mhm.
This person heard the voice and it did make sense. You heard it and it did. Some stuff that came to your mind that didn't make no sense, I'm quite sure some stuff did and throughout your years, right? You didn't. This person, it triggered them.
Okay.
Some stuff that they went through in their life
Mhm.
that happened, it triggered them. But they started thinking about it, they never came back.
Oh, wow. I want
So,
you to talk about something we talked about on the way here, and that was what happened, why there are usually so many active cases at nighttime.
oh yeah. So one of the things in crisis mobilization, I work crisis mobilization for D-Win at midnights. I've been working almost a year now. And what I'm realizing, like there'll be a lot of calls in the middle of the night. And what I've learned is that people that suffer from mental health challenges, at nighttime, everything is shut down. And when everything is shut down, a person that's having a mental health crisis means things exacerbates in their head become loud. It become louder because life has went
Everything else
down.
was quiet.
Everything
Mhm.
else is quiet. And so a person to say, well, why they get up? Why people act like that at night? It's because they feel alone. And nobody is really affirming what's going on in their head. Because if they say it, you don't believe it.
Mhm.
So like guardians and parents, what I'm noticing is that they don't understand and they get tired of their child or whatever, and they call them crazy. What people don't realize is that if you say that to, you're not, mental health don't mean that you gone. There's some things going on, but you're behind the spectrum though. You just can't get through. I'm like, you people can actually see the mental challenge. I can't.
Can't break the seal. Can't
So
break
if you cuss them out or say something, they see that. That's why if you hear a person say, my mama kicked me and put, they not lying. So what happens is that's why I say the world is a bully. Because people would do that to people if nobody see it.
Mm.
And people are suffering. That vulnerable population are suffering. I come in for, I like to see where people in prison, we're suffered too. When I think about all the years and my thoughts, I had mental health challenges all my life.
And didn't know it.
And I look at the counselors and the psychiatrists, they never really diagnosed me like that. They said, something wrong with you, crazy there. I said, yeah, I know, right? And then get on it, go on in there and do that. And so just do my time. They did ask me that I want some meds. I said, no, it's weak to take medication. I should have.
Okay.
I'm just saying. And so mental health is basically, we want a balance. Mental health means health. Like, how can you find a balance? How do you cope with things? When you can't find a balance, it's easy to smoke weed, smoke crack, sniff heroin, drink lean.
Drink what? Drink what?
Lean.
What is
syrup?
What is lean?
Cough syrup.
Oh.
Codeine, like real strong stuff that Robitussin that used to drink back in the day. The kids drink it for recreation.
Really?
Yeah, and they take a perk behind a Percocet. They don't have no feeling, so We
Oh,
talking right.
wow.
Just talking about our youth. Our youth don't like to feel. Our youth, it takes 5, 6 feelings a day for them to be fulfilled. Smoke some weed, smoke a cigarette, have sex, drink some lean, take a perk, and then drink some double XL and some Patron later at night. So that's 7 different stimulants that our kids need in a day now.
Wow.
Where back in the day, they just take a penny cap, smoke some weed. Our kids need 5 or 6 different stimulants in a day to feel fulfilled.
Oh my.
So that's what I'm showing. Like we have to
So
look at.
what can we do about that? I mean, what kind of steps can we begin to take to help them with that?
We need more substance abuse awareness for our juveniles. We need substance abuse awareness and treatment facilities for our juveniles. Why you say that? In prison, they are becoming drug addicts in prison now. The people in prison are drug addicts. The young guys go in and take this piece of paper that they got something on and they put it up under their tongue and it make them shake and fall all over in prison. So those guys are being sent home to us.
Okay, back up. This piece of paper.
I guess K2.
What's on the paper?
K2.
What's
I guess
K2?
they had it in the stores, gas station years ago, or before, and the kids were doing something with it. So now you could put it on the paper. It's easy to get the paper in prison. So
any kind of paper?
Any kind. Just put the wet part and let it dry.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get it, just cut the piece out, sell it to them for $20. Just put it on your mouth, and then you gone. Yeah. So that's big. That's a real epidemic in prison now. We're inheriting them from the prison. When you talk, why this guy do this when he was a drug addict in prison.
And so what we need, and maybe I'm just the only one who doesn't know anything about that, have to ask this question, but we need a whole lesson, a class for the adults and the parents to understand that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The paper that you just talked about.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole slew of us, and maybe I'm just because I'm old, maybe I just don't know what these young people are doing. But I dare say there are parents who don't know this either, and they at least need to know what the possibilities are and what these children are doing. If you're telling me they need 7 different hits in a day, parents need to know that so they can find a way to help them.
That was another time, like I come up in the 80s, that most of the population of kids, you got to worry about one of them running up on you and actually shooting you down. Now, in my time, in the 80s, when you was working and all that crazy stuff, young boys, Dexter and all that, there wasn't a whole bunch of people doing that.
Okay.
You can go to any block and at least 10, 15 guys can do the same thing. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
It used to be 1 or 2 guys in the hood.
Everybody knew who they were.
Now you got some fools that'll do that. Back then, a fool was scared to shoot and ride, and he ain't going, he don't stay on the block. Now kids, it's easy to just go off and do it. That's trauma.
Yeah.
That's trauma. That's trauma that came from home. We keep saying we can't deal with the parents. That's a problem. Across the board, first thing we say, there's nothing we can do to the parent. It comes from the parent. It comes from the household. How do we deal with it if it's in the home? We look at it every day when we see parents. We know that these kids are suffering in this way. We say we can't do nothing. So what we doing? We're producing animals, producing these kids to come to our neighborhood and do something to somebody we know. A lot of people don't say nothing because we be so far away, do nothing to my friend, kids, and nothing. But as soon as it hit home, now we want to do something. It should be hitting home now.
So we really need to have, some informational sessions for these parents.
Yeah.
And we get started in elementary school.
Yes. And
the PTA there ought to be a segment in the PTA meetings that talks about this kind of thing, because it's impacting how these kids are being educated and how they're receiving education.
Sure.
If in fact they're able to comprehend.
Sure.
That's why some of them can't comprehend, because they're high.
Ma, here you go. I'm gonna tell you what I see. Now on this note, what do we do to change our community? Like what? So I've been home 14 years. I've been hearing the same thing. Okay, you got a lot of nerve to say you've been to prison. You got a lot of nerve. Okay, so I've been home. So I'm saying, what do I see? I was in a situation that was terrible. I don't think nobody ever did 25 years out here that I'll be around now. They've been out here working all their life, right? So what I believe, I was senior. So I know a whole bunch of seniors, right? I know some that people don't want to see. I know seniors that most politicians respect. I ain't even in the streets. I'm just saying what we can identify. So, well, why you say that? So I've always listened to a senior. I was terrible. She can stop me in my tracks, and I would listen.
Okay.
And then go do what I was doing. So what are you saying?
But you would listen.
So our seniors don't have nothing to do for the most part, except you, man. You golf, and you know what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, we need a senior advisory council to our communities. Well, why you say that? Well, the people our age and younger, and the people that's standing in the gap, they don't know what to do. Well, what you mean? They not getting back to the basics. They keep trying to create something new. It's nothing new. It's the legacy. It's the basics. If we get back to the basics, we can do a lot of other stuff. But we got a lot of stuff we got to get rid of first in order that we go ahead. So why you say the older people? Because the young people don't know.
Oh, okay. And they really don't.
They think they
don't know.
I'm 57. I'm not afraid. I'm not trying to hurry up to lead nothing.
Right.
To be told down. Like all leaders, there's some stuff to come with that. I'm trying to live today. I got 3 children. So we see so many people trying. What are you trying to do? Nothing has changed. I'm talking about people that's in the, you know. So we need older people. We need seniors. Why you say that? Because we always go to the seniors for everything anyway.
Okay.
We need an advisory board that we can't get by. No, for real. In Detroit, we need I see some seniors right now that ain't nothing nice. If we could get by that, that's we good.
Okay.
Right? I'm just saying,
Yeah.
The advisory board. If you get past this, I know a bunch of deep seniors. I ain't talking about nobody my age. I'm talking about real seniors. Dedicated seniors in the city of Detroit.
Who won't let stuff slide. No, you can't do that. You can't. You won't let it slide.
It's right here. And do it like that. I believe we get a lot done. We can be messy. We get messy when we trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
The seniors ain't gonna tell us to figure it out. They're gonna say, do this. Do that.
That's right.
That's
good idea.
Do that. Quit talking.
That's right. And and DWIN might be able to facilitate something like that. Now that the former police chief is now the director of DWIN, he has experience on both sides.
So we do have a conference coming, a men's conference that I'm doing with DWIN. I know he's talking about a lot of innovation with mental health, a lot of work in our community. To bring this awareness so our community can know that we have mental health systems of care that can help you. Our mobile crisis is a real innovative one. People should look into what mobile crisis is and understand mobile crisis in Wayne County is a crisis that would get to you right away. It used to be crisis didn't come by mobility. You had to go to the crisis. The innovative approach is that the crisis service will come to you, assess you, and take you where you need to go to be de-escalated.
Now, is it are you in a car? Is it a mobile unit? What is it?
So we at the Crisis Center, 707 Milwaukee, and we are sitting there. I work 12-hour shifts on the weekend. And when we get a call from dispatch, dispatch assess it, they put it in the queue, we read it, and we're dispatched to the address, me and the clinician.
Okay.
We get in a van.
You're in a van. Okay,
we go outside, we get in a van. We got like 12 white vans with the back wheelchair accessible and all that in the back, enough room. And then when we pull up, as a peer support specialist, normally I'm the one that had the first contact with whatever person is going through. My goal is to de-escalate,
Okay.
to bring them down. Uh, our clinician assess,
Okay.
and then we see where we'll take them. If it's a guardian, if it's an inpatient, depends on their behavior. We don't go in homes with dogs, animals, or guns.
Mm-hmm.
We just go in homes, and then we take people that initiate this willing to sign consent, or if they under guardianship, they have to sign.
Okay. Now, is that all of Wayne County?
All in Wayne County.
So, so you are located on Milwaukee,
We on Milwaukee,
and all the vans are on Milwaukee.
and the care center is on Milwaukee.
So, if I'm in Inkster or River Rouge or Garden City, and I have an issue, you got to come from Milwaukee and Detroit and go all the way down to Inkster, River Rouge, or Garden City.
So if you're in a crisis, yeah, we go anywhere in Wayne
I
County.
mean, I know you go, but by the time you get there, you know, it's going to take you a long time to get from
So-
Milwaukee down to Garden
Right.
City.
So I think it was, what was the purpose of mobilization? Crisis mobilization came about because 911 was flooded with calls.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of those calls were mental health
Mm-hmm.
calls.
Mm-hmm.
And so they figured the way to do that is to fix a crisis services that deal strictly with crisis. So when you call the 911, they ask you what we can have help, what can they help you with?
Mhm.
And one of those is this a mental health crisis? So because there were mental health crises, it was a need for the mobilization.
And that makes sense. I'm just saying that it might also make sense to reassess
Mhm.
where those vans are located,
True.
so that you know if you're in Western Wayne County someplace,
We have
you have some places, some vans down there.
Wayne, so we do have some in Westland.
Okay, that makes,
Westland.
okay,
It's
okay,
a couple that be there.
okay. That's closer. That
And so
okay.
it seems like we in the mid city,
Mhm.
and so it's like we ain't nothing but like 12 minutes away, both
Oh.
all ways, like
Okay.
where we at.
Okay,
We never like have a call that's
To
like a long, yeah.
A
It's
long
like
way
we
to
can
get
get
there.
there from where we at. We at all the freeways right where we at.
okay,
We can jump right on there.
okay. And so let's say you get a call, you go to the crisis, the location, and is it who the person who called you that you talk to first to find out who it is that's having the problem?
So a lot of times, most of our calls, I'm gonna say that somebody else called for the person.
Mm-hmm.
We do have calls when a person will call for themselves.
But most of the somebody else, and that person who called is the one that you go talk to.
Yeah, so we would go and find out basically, because we
Mhm.
really can't talk about nobody else's situation. Somebody may
Mhm.
call for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out why they called. If they're not a guardian, the conversation kind of cuts off. there.
You can't talk to them.
Yeah, and so we'll go and we'll help the
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
But anybody can call. Like if you call for somebody, 1-800-241-4949. That's D-Win's mobile crisis number. So if you call that and you calling for somebody, you have to say, this person allows me to speak for them.
Okay, and what's that number again?
1-800-241-4949. And so you can speak for the person. That's what it is, the person.
Mm-hmm.
And you can speak for them long as you let the dispatch know that you are talking for them.
Okay.
You know, you can take a person down to the crisis center too. We have outpatient as well.
Okay.
We also
In
want
that same location on Milwaukee?
in the same location. We also people that come to the crisis center, for some reason they believe that they're gonna be locked in there. That's not true. You can leave when you want.
Okay.
The crisis center is not a box or a room. We have recliners,
Okay.
food, snacks, barbecue chips, but you get a nurse, you get an NRA, you get a psych, and you get all the services and resources you needed too at the same time.
Oh, that's-
And so it's like it's innovative and it worked. It makes sense. A lot of our members, I mean, if they need help, they will call mobilization.
Okay.
You know, so call mobilization. Like, when you don't understand the actions of your family members, whatever,
Mhm.
so you can understand.
Can I bring my family member who's having the issue to the center?
Yeah. And so you can bring them if they consent. If you're not their guardian, they still have to consent to go
Mhm.
in.
Okay.
Now, if it's a real crisis situation and you're not a guardian and we can't do nothing, if they violent dogs, then you have to call 911.
Okay.
And the thing about crisis, we was trying to stop the influx of crisis going to the hospital because all crisis situations are not don't require the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the crisis center kind of take a lot of that the heavy loads off and focus more of those numbers going to a crisis center as opposed to the hospital or 911.
And it takes the pressure off the emergency room
Yeah,
too, doesn't it?
yeah. But I want to say this though.
Mm.
One of the things that I've learned lately is something that I see that so working crisis mobilization is there's a lot of secondhand trauma involved. Um, and so I am affected
Mm.
a lot, going on those calls.
Oh, I'm sure.
One of the things I want to
You
say,
have to be.
it's like if I do 4 calls a
Mhm.
night, like last night, and if write my notes, when it comes to me writing them at the end of the night, and if I try to remember, I can't remember. What that tells me is that the trauma is so real. You know how you can go through a day and remember everything, right?
Mhm.
So, just knowing, I remember I did this and that. But if you work crisis for a day, you won't remember most of that.
Probably because your psyche is trying to forget that
It-
because it's
so
so
heavy.
traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the second
So
hand.
you know what you need to be talking into your phone instead of trying to write it down. Talk your notes into your phone and then write them down later. Because our minds it's a defense mechanism.
Right. So I
Mhm.
want to give some honors to the crisis worker because of what I just said.
Okay.
Like I've like the secondhand trauma I experienced, I'm always on the call with a clinician. And I've seen secondhand trauma in so many different ways. Something that you see on the call that reminds something that you've been through. Even as small as they the same age as me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Like somebody, I
Yeah.
mean, one person was so affected by the fact that the 3 people we seen that night was their age,
Oh wow.
which made them feel like, oh,
Mhm.
that could be me.
Mm-hmm.
Or me seeing something and it reminds me of the houses I went in. I've actually walked out in tears. Yeah.
Mm.
Ain't nothing I can do.
Yeah.
I just let it go
Right.
now. Like I've
Yeah.
seen some things and just I go work. I never did it in the house, but when I leave. So crisis mobilization is so I always say it's I don't know no work like that.
Okay.
From the police. I know police do some serious work, right?
Mhm.
I know the ambulance, I know the fire. I'm talking about you going to save a human. Do you know if the human changed their mind and they're gonna do something else, what that would do to you?
Hmm.
So those type of things. And so I take it serious. And the burnout,
Yeah.
crisis burnout is serious. I believe, I don't know. We have to we need more people in
You
the
need
work, really.
more people
Yeah.
to do fewer times,
Yeah.
probably,
Yeah.
because I can imagine that you do that day in and day out for 6 or 7, 8 months.
Yeah.
That's traumatic. You need to change up and do something else for a while and then go back to that, I would think.
So,
That's got to be really, really traumatic. Does DWIN work with the Detroit Police Department and other police departments as it relates to those situations where the police department 911 gets a call, this person is violent? Do they take someone with them at times?
so like last night, it was in Highland Park. The police called us because they couldn't handle it. So they would call us for a crisis. Like ain't nobody moving, like he
Mhm.
just laying on the floor and he ain't gonna respond.
Mhm.
They would call us, but they have crisis teams too.
Do they?
DPD
Okay.
has a crisis team as well. DWIN trains.
Oh,
Us,
the police department crisis
yeah,
teams.
and I did a portion of that training for a while too.
Okay.
And that was when the police, when you identify a person, say you put him in a car
Mhm.
and he doing like this, that don't mean he trying to get out the cuffs. Police have beat people down for that.
Really?
You doing this in the back
Mhm,
seat
mhm.
and they saying, quit, stop. Like, man, I can't. That's mental health. It's something going on. And so I'm showing them that that's not a beat down. He's not trying to get out. He's not trying to do nothing. You need to assess it different. You have to know what these mental challenges are. And when a person in a police car are doing something around you through the police, is it intentional criminal behavior
Or
or
it
is it
something?
mental?
Yeah.
And so a lot of time the police miss that and call it criminal.
Mm-hmm.
People could catch a case because a person responded and did this, so the police could say, no, you did this. Reason I did this. So going to a crisis, you do need crisis mobilization. You need work. You need therapists and things to make sure that the person that's being served is taken care of well.
Wow, this is really quite. I want to go back to what we were talking about with the young people because that is such a concern that they are doing all of these what you call it, the cough medicine and the stuff on the piece of paper
Yeah.
and all these and young people are doing this, and I'll bet you 10 to 1 parents don't know that.
I want to say it really exacerbated during COVID. It really did.
Yeah.
The kids had more money, like we was talking about it
Mhm.
before. They had unemployment loan, PPP loan money. Our kids have 30, 40, 50, 60, up to $100,000 in their pockets.
But why
during
the kids
COVID.
have that? Why, I don't understand why the kids had it.
Y'all was in the house running from COVID with masks on, hiding and stuff. They was getting money. I'm just being straight
Where
up.
were they getting it from?
PPP loan, the money that was coming from the system that they said was took. A lot of the kids got the money.
How did I'm just
Out the
that just
system.
floors me. How did the kids get
So
it?
here you go. So mama don't know how to use the internet.
Yeah, okay.
So
I accept
the
that.
kid taught her how to go on there and file the paperwork.
Okay.
Most of the mothers don't know how to do that.
That's true.
So they filed the unemployment, all that.
And
the
so
next time the kid did it themselves,
when it came to
they ain't
them.
show the mama. Yeah.
Oh.
And they got their own money. Then they got their brothers, sisters. I can do it for you. So the kids were doing it themselves
Oh boy.
with their own and getting their money. Kids had 40, 50, 60, $100,000. So they start.
Really cricket.
You was in the house, mom. You had a mask on. Everybody sensible people was at home. Everybody was at home running for death, and the kids was having fun.
Oh my.
Stealing money, taking money. And so they became drug addicts.
Oh.
They was the drug of choice. They could get any drug they wanted during COVID. So afterwards, we seen the residual. Spin, kill. Who do that? You had to be on drugs is all you get in charge and spin, shoot. It sounds crazy. They wasn't doing that before COVID. Think about it. How did they end up stealing charges and spin? Drink some cough syrup, take a Percocet, smoke some hardcore weed, drink some double XL, drink some Patron with it, because they mixing it. The wine and the Patron, they putting it together.
Well, where are they getting the Percocet from?
On the street, it got fentanyl in it. And so that's what really makes it crazy. No real pills no more. All made up fentanyl pills.
I am just floored.
That's true story, right?
It's
True
just
story.
real.
So we're fighting a war with our kids. They love drugs. You ready? Weed was a bad thing. It's hurting our kids. It's crushing us, our babies. It's crushing them. They all smoke weed. Even the baby that was gonna go to school and get all A's, when she came home, she smoked weed.
Oh wow.
Now, you know, drinking was a thing in college. I'm saying they smoking weed and eating edibles now. That was not a good thing.
No.
Our kids in school want $10. They don't want $5 go. They want $10, Mom. You give me $10. Where you gonna go? You gonna go to the store? They gonna lie and say, yeah. They gonna get a blunt at 10 years old. That's
10?
Yeah, they smoke weed at 10. 11, 12. Yeah.
Oh, it's just such another world.
So weed is recreation now, right?
Unfortunately.
Weed is and listen, I'm not gonna be true salmon up here, but I could say this: weed is not a good thing. I'm telling you. Now, it don't make you like do what crack do and all that, but it do paralyze some of your abilities. I hate to say it don't increase your abilities like that. Yeah, your awareness, but it can make your body function lazy. I'm just saying, man.
Oh, so we have a whole educational class for parents.
Yeah.
Is what we need. And we need to talk about it in PTA meetings.
So here you go. When it comes to parents, this is the issue I have. We have to get in the home. That's the only way we're going to save the children. Well, why you say that? We can get the kids when they come out. No, we don't know what's in the home. Say we fix the kid when they come out, they still got to go back home and suffer. There's some stuff that's going on in the house. Well, you can't go in the house because that's that lady house. I say figure out how to get in that lady house. Why? Because that kid might kill somebody.
Mm.
He might rape. He might steal the baby. We don't know where the girl at now.
Yeah.
Well, how do you prevent it? That's the prevention. We need to deal with people like straight up.
We need to start early. Obviously, we need to start real early. We need at PTA meetings talk about this and have parents be very alert because I'm sure that a lot of parents don't have a clue of what you just said. They don't know that those babies are smoking blunts at 10 years old and the cough medicine and the piece of paper that had whatever that is you talked about on it, they're putting under their cheek. All of that. Parents need to be aware of that. Because I'm sure some of them are clueless.
We got another thing. One more. Why is our young women getting snatched off the street? What is going on?
Yeah. That's
What is going on?
yeah.
I'm not understanding.
Yeah.
Little girl just recently, the guy pulled up to a house, which meant that for him to pull in and her to be coming out the house, that meant that she was on the phone on the gadget. And she was able to have this conversation with the guy to finna come out for them to and stop it. There's a lot of that going on. We got guys, the internet, if your child got a phone, they own it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, they know if a kid got the phone.
Wow.
They get targeted.
That's scary.
We're dealing like, I've never seen like these guys. And then the guy jealous in these relationships, they killing our family.
That's what gets me. You know, you got to kill her. You've got to kill the person because she doesn't want to be with you anymore. Mental illness. That's clearly a mental illness.
I have to advise our young women, I as a man, it ain't what he got, it ain't what he try to act like try to act like who he is. If he can't be himself, then it ain't worth it. I mean, that's just the root of it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to try to figure nothing else out.
No.
If it come trying to be somebody other than what they are, then that means that later you're going to see him for who he is, and he might get mad at you and hurt you.
That's happening all too frequently. And then the fact that they dump the bodies in the trash, how disrespectful. How horrible is that? How horrible is that? My.
So what I did tell guys in prison, because one of my moms was like, I don't care if it was my baby. I think I remember one of my moms said that. So I told the guys in prison, like, bro, we can't how you gonna let a guy, we know this guy know where the body at, and he won't say nothing. That he's gonna get sentenced and come play basketball with y'all every day.
Mm.
So that's what happened. Like, guy go to prison, you don't know what happened. He be playing basketball. And the baby's still somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I told them this time, I said, don't do that, man.
Don't
play basketball with him, man.
Ostracize him. Yeah, put him over in the corner by himself.
I say, please don't play basketball with these pedophiles no more, man. I think people out here getting tired of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all trying to come home? Well, I'm telling you, man, you better quit playing basketball with them dudes over there hurting our people out here, man.
That's
y'all
right.
Ain't getting out, bro. Like, y'all letting these guys come in there, man. Like, if it's easy to come, then they're going to keep doing it and come on be our friends and play basketball with y'all. You know?
Don't be friends with them. Make them feel the pain.
For real, though. Come on now. I'm
make them
like,
feel the pain that those families are feeling. Make them feel it.
This guy got the baby. I can't believe he ain't said nothing, though. Like, what conscience do you got, bro? You in the county. You know everybody out here looking. Mm-hmm. You won't say nothing.
I know people looking for this child.
I can't believe that.
Mm-hmm. And his lawyer probably told him not to say anything. That's the other part. That's the other part.
I can't believe it.
Okay, time for us to wrap it up. This went so fast. I can't believe it. This went so fast because my. Thank you, Dwight. We got a lot more stuff to talk about. So next we got to come back and so we can talk about some of these other things that are going on. And I want you to come back and talk about the story that's being written about your life. That's what I want you to talk about. So we're gonna talk about that
I'm looking
story.
for sponsorship. They looking for sponsorship.
Yeah,
now.
so there's gonna be a whole movie that's bit. So we're gonna talk about that when you come back.
Y'all a part of it. Like it's just adding the stories. Like,
oh, that's gonna be fun. Thank you so much. As always, appreciate you. Thank you, audience. It's been a blast. It's Monday, 4 o'clock, the Community Bell Show, award-winning WVTC Radio Detroit, Stellar Award winning. See you next week at 4 o'clock. Have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.